The temperature in the packed conference hall at Vertex Solutions seemed to plummet the instant Marcus Thorne fiddled with his polished, silver cufflinks. That subtle twitch in his jaw signaled he was gearing up for one of his signature motivational rants, the kind that always circled back to impossible targets, budget slashes, or a veiled insult aimed at anyone showing a hint of original thought. We were crammed into the brightly lit space in downtown Seattle, name badges scanned, coffee in hand, watching our CEO stride back and forth like a motivational speaker who'd traded soul for hair product and venture capital swagger. Marcus's gaze skipped over the vice presidents, ignored the eager new hires still buzzing from orientation, and zeroed straight in on Ethan Vale. Ethan stood in the back as always, notepad ready, expression neutral. The director of enterprise architecture, who quietly kept the whole operation from collapsing under the weight of Marcus's so-called innovations. If you're unhappy with the direction here, Marcus sneered, gesturing dramatically toward the exit doors. The door is right there. Go ahead. That was the moment. The room froze. Ethan didn't argue, didn't raise his voice. He simply nodded once, as if he'd rehearsed this exact scene in his mind countless times, snapped his notebook shut, and walked out without a word. His footsteps echoed down the hallway until the door closed with a soft, final click. No slam. No scene. Just absence. I felt a strange tightness in my chest. Not anger exactly, but a heavy grief. Most saw it as career suicide, but I recognized it for what it was, Ethan choosing himself after years of being overlooked. Vertex Solutions had morphed into one of those places where the air felt manufactured. Every phrase stitched from LinkedIn buzzwords and HR scripts. If this resonates, you know the suffocating corporate grind I'm describing. The silence lingered for what felt like minutes before Marcus forced a smile and pivoted into a vague speech about disruption and trimming inefficiencies. But his face had paled noticeably as Ethan's footsteps faded. No one chased after him. Marcus reframed it as removing dead weight, claiming Ethan was a relic unable to keep pace. The interns resumed nibbling their complimentary snacks. Phones buzzed with meeting invites. But the atmosphere had shifted irreversibly. Ethan had been the invisible foundation. The guy who arrived first and left last. Patching integrations no one else understood. Holding together legacy systems with sheer intellect while the rest of us endured forced team-building karaoke and ice cream socials that masked widespread burnout. Vertex worshipped loud voices, flashy presentations, and buzzword-dropping executives. Ethan was labeled difficult to read, not a cultural fit, meaning he refused to play the game. He was competent, and that threatened the egos in charge. I recalled a brutal reorganization where Marcus promoted Jonah Reed, a flashy operator who once triggered a full-day outage by misconfiguring a simple server rack. Jonah loved dropping phrases like "synergize the ecosystem" while wearing trendy sneakers. Ethan fixed Jonah's errors at 2 a.m. without complaint. Another incident. Ethan architected a vendor integration that saved the company over $1 million annually in costs. Marcus credited it to a golf course acquaintance who rebranded analytics with unnecessary flair. The humiliations accumulated like slow corrosion. Ethan endured silently until something inside him shifted. He stopped volunteering fixes in meetings, stopped challenging misguided consultant advice. That was when I realized he wasn't disengaging, he was redirecting his energy elsewhere. After that fateful all-hands, I stayed late. Ethan's desk was cleared except for a mug reading, "I void warranties," and a sticky note. Peering over the cubicle, I caught the glow of his personal laptop, keys worn from years of private use. He'd been preparing long before walking out. That night, in his apartment across town, Ethan accessed a private repository under an alias. Branches named after weather patterns and migration routes hinted at something monumental. The latest commit, Modular Core Override version 4.2. This wasn't maintenance, it was Genesis. Clean architecture. Zero vendor lock-in. Pure efficiency. While Vertex celebrated executive hires and press releases, Ethan was constructing a true replacement. Ethan's departure rippled through the company. No one knew the full reason, so rumors filled the void. His LinkedIn update was minimalist, exploring new paths ahead. 3 words that sparked whispers and made Marcus uneasy. Marcus thrived on narrative control, and this challenged it. 2 days later, an internal memo painted Ethan as burned out and misaligned with the company's growth vision. The phrasing stung, suggesting the man who'd shouldered infrastructure for 7 years was simply exhausted and confused. Ethan offered no rebuttal. He let the narrative settle. In that quiet, the perceptive ones began noticing. Disaffected employees drifted toward him. Sophia from security ousted after her patch prevented a breach, but stole spotlight from the CTO. Ryan from compliance demoted for refusing to inflate reports. And me? The risk analyst who'd seen too much. Ethan didn't recruit aggressively. His message was simple: still building something worthwhile? It began with encrypted channels, shifting servers, and a growing repository. No branding, no hype, just collaborative code in the shadows. The project embodied the opposite of Vertex's bloat: modular, lightweight, zero trust by design, effortless data portability. We weren't disrupting, we aimed to obsolete the old system entirely. One late night, I received Ethan's message requesting an architecture compliance audit with full deniability. No salary, no pitch deck, just a challenge. I accepted instantly. We operated like phantoms, stripping features to essentials. Where Vertex relied on monolithic middleware prone to failure, the new platform integrated seamlessly, exported data instantly, baked in security. In a test environment dubbed Dawn Threshold, logs flowed perfectly for the first time. No stutters, no crashes. Ethan named it with purpose: the clean exit for those trapped in outdated infrastructure. Initial funding came from Logan Pierce, whose logistics firm suffered massive losses during a Vertex audit failure. Marcus had publicly blamed Logan, costing contracts. Logan wanted replacement, not competition. We built precisely that. Modules, auto-scaled integrations, automated compliance traces, featured clean UI without vanity metrics. Functional, respectful of user time. We kept it invisible, sharpening tools in silence. The first live deployment hit a single client at 2 a.m., a quiet Tuesday rollout to Logan's firm. Latency dropped dramatically. Sync times improved tenfold. Uptime soared. Logan messaged, "This feels clean," like it was always meant to be. We didn't cheer. We iterated. Noted demand signals. In private industry forums, whispers emerged. Anyone tried this new Eclipse framework? Cleaner than the big players. Half the price. Clients inquired about painless switches. Vertex noticed subtle client quietude. Missed renewals. Rescheduled meetings. Marcus dismissed it as temporary churn. Inside Vertex, symptoms spread. Account teams reported unresponsive clients. Support queues lengthened after staff cuts. A junior analyst spotted interface similarities in a forum screenshot, recognizing Ethan's elegant logic trees and modularity. Legal panicked, dispatching a cease and desist alleging intellectual property theft. Ethan's response was methodical. He attached a comprehensive 80-page analysis with timestamps, hashes, and private development logs proving independent creation. The employment contract's overlooked clause sealed it. Personal projects developed off hours without company resources remained his property. Marcus's team had no case. The filing inadvertently validated that Eclipse was the perfected vision Vertex had mangled. The TechForge Summit in San Francisco became the turning point. Traditionally Marcus's stage for self-promotion. This year a surprise speaker slot appeared, Ethan Vale presenting on rebuilding after misalignment. The hall filled rapidly. Marcus froze mid-conversation as Ethan's name flashed. Ethan took the stage in simple attire. USB in hand, expression calm yet battle-hardened. He opened with a blank slide. You already sense the story. No resume recap. No pleasantries. He dissected burnout not as dramatic breakdowns, but as daily erosion, solving problems while losing faith solutions matter. Maintaining dysfunction under ego-driven management. I stopped repairing the broken. I built anew. Slides revealed Eclipse's architecture. Open APIs. Frictionless migrations. Scalability demos. No direct Vertex mention. Yet the room understood. Marcus clenched his jaw visibly. Attendees murmured about ghosts collecting dues. Ethan ended with, "Replace the problem quietly." Standing ovation followed.
Post-summit.
Churn accelerated. Mid-sized firms switched first. Tired of rigid pricing and fees. Larger clients followed, absorbing penalties to migrate. A healthcare network cited sovereignty and clarity. Eclipse's dashboard registered new users steadily. Ethan added capacity, without fanfare. Vertex's internal panic grew incrementally. Pipeline dried. Engagement plummeted. A leaked executive email begged for emergency funding, blaming sabotage and predatory mimicry. Marcus faced the board. But Logan Pierce had quietly acquired majority control through strategic purchases. Logan's first move: deny bailout, initiate risk audit. The dissolution came quietly. A Friday afternoon press release announced voluntary closure due to market shifts. By Monday, the website returned errors, as if Vertex had never existed. The infrastructure Ethan once maintained was erased from history. In the new workspace, Ethan and I reviewed dashboards showing sustained growth. Clients praised reliability. No public victory laps. Just continued refinement. The story spread in closed circles. Eclipse succeeded where Vertex failed by prioritizing substance over spectacle. Flashbacks revealed Ethan's years of endurance. Specific incidents included late-night fixes after executive errors, credit thefts, and dismissive labels. The all-hands dare crystallized his resolve. Private development spanned weekends, building branches methodically. Recruitment unfolded organically. Sophia shared breach prevention stories. Ryan detailed compliance frustrations. Our group bonded through shared experiences of being undervalued. Code commits reflected grim determination. Funding discussions with Logan were pragmatic, focused on clean architecture. Early testing phases highlighted contrasts: Eclipse's 3-click exports versus Vertex's convoluted processes. Soft launch metrics validated superiority. Client feedback emphasized simplicity and respect for time. Legal confrontation tested resolve. But documentation prevailed. The clause Marcus once mocked became decisive. Summit presentation humanized the technical, connecting emotionally with professionals tired of corporate theater. Client migration stories added depth. One logistics partner described seamless transition, saving weeks of downtime. Multinationals absorbed penalties for long-term gains. Internal Vertex denial delayed recognition of the threat. Logan's board maneuvering involved patient share accumulation, crossing thresholds unnoticed. The emergency liquidity plea exposed desperation when met with silence. The final months saw cascading exits. Support collapsed. Tickets unanswered for days. Junior staff uncovered more Eclipse similarities, confirming the haunting familiarity of Ethan's signature designs. Marcus's attempts to rally failed against inevitable decline. Ethan's reflection in the new space captured the essence. Systems should serve quietly, efficiently, without demanding loyalty or ego. The dissolution left a void filled by Eclipse's steady expansion. No dramatic confrontation marked the end. Marcus faded into advisory obscurity without public admission. Clients moved on, some expressing quiet relief. The lingering question remains, in environments that reward noise and charisma over quiet competence, how many Ethans walk away unnoticed? Building replacements that render the old irrelevant? The power of patient, surgical absence over loud revenge echoes. Corporate cultures often mistake flash for vision, only realizing the cost when the foundation departs silently, leaving an empire to crumble under its own weight. What systems are we maintaining today that deserve to be replaced quietly? The story leaves that unease. A reminder that true innovation often hides in the shadows until it's too late to stop.